Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Congratulations to those who are about to be initiated into the Brahma Madhva Gauriya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Maybe, I don't know if you've heard this verse, I hope so, if you're getting initiated, and those who are initiated should have certainly heard this verse. Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. After, well, if we see the verses before that, Eta Brahmanda Bari Ananta Jivagan Chaurasi Lakha Jonite Kariye Brahman. Out of practically unlimited numbers of jivas, even in one Brahmanda, who are wandering in the universe from body to body to body in 84 lakh species of life. Someone who, out of these uncountable numbers of jivas, someone may be fortunate enough to get the seed of devotional service planted in the heart by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. What is that seed? It means faith in the principle of pure devotional service. Summed up by Srila Rupa Goswami, Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana kamadyanavritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktirutama. There are various types of faith, summarized in Bhagavad-gita as 3 kinds of faith. Trividha bhavati shraddha dehinam sasvabhavaja sattviki rajasi chaiva tamasi. There are 3 kinds, sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. But within that broad grouping, I hope you know what sattvic, rajasic and tamasic mean. Maybe most people nowadays in India don't know. Then you have to read Bhagavad-gita. Within that, there are a huge number of various philosophies and worldviews and outlooks. Shraddha mayo yang purusha yo yat shraddha sa eva saha. We are defined by the kind of faith we have. Everyone has some kind of faith. Someone may say, well, I don't believe anything. Then we can ask them, do you believe what you just said? I don't have faith in anything. Do you have faith in the statement you just said? And you just say, I don't believe it. Do you have faith that there is such an entity as I? We all have some kind of faith. Coming to the point of initiation is the major step in having accepted faith in the principle of pure devotional service as given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That, given by other acharyas also, Vaishnava acharyas, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave Vaishnavism in the fully fledged form. So faith in the principle of pure devotional service. There's a big philosophical background behind all of this. Philosophical means real. The term philosophical in English means any crazy idea that comes in someone's head which they spout off in some kind of pseudo-intellectual way. There's a whole background to accepting I am an eternal living being. I am an eternal servant of Krishna. To get that far on the Vedic path is a great advancement, considering that most people who are on the path of Vedic philosophical understanding, at least traditionally, it's been like that. They get waylaid by the idea that I am Brahma, I am temporarily a jiva, but my eternal or my real identity, or I'm not really a jiva at all, just an illusion. I think I'm a jiva, but really I'm Atma, which is all one, Brahma. So this impersonalism has been prominent in the recent history of Vedic culture. Recent means from the time of Shankaracharya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called him Acharya inasmuch. Anyway, that's a big topic. But to understand, I am not God. That's a great advancement for a jiva, because most are taken up by the misunderstanding, the demoniac attitude. Ishvaro ham aham bhogi. The whole world is going on. I'm supposed to be the enjoyer of it. I'm the controller. Immensely foolish. It's objectively provable to be wrong, but most people think like this. They may not verbalize it, or they may not make a philosophy out of it, but everyone acts as if my role in this world is to enjoy it. And on top of that, there may be piled some morals which help us all to live peacefully in this world, enjoying forgetting Krishna. So to come to the position of understanding that I am an eternal servant of Krishna and I'm meant for serving him, that's all. And that's what we do. That's what initiation means. That's one definition of initiation. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave, saying, Dikha kale bhakta kare ata samarpan. At the time of initiation, a devotee, he offers himself to Krishna. Anyway, we belong to Krishna. We can't escape that. But Krishna gives a little independence by which we can choose to acknowledge that or deny it. And if we deny it, we tend to just completely forget it. So to come to this point is greatly fortunate, considering there are so many who don't come to this point. Even most of the inhabitants of the universe are not even in a human form, and it's very rare for those not in a human form to even come to the point of Krishna consciousness. That was seen in the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Pashu Pakhi Jhure. Even the animals and birds would weep upon hearing his qualities, or even the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was going on the path to Vrindavan, and his ecstasy in Krishna consciousness was so overwhelming. Even the tigers and the deer and the elephants and the wild boar, all the jungle animals would chant Hare Krishna together. And even the tigers and the deers, they kissed each other. And even the non-moving living entities, the trees and the creepers, were enlivened in Krishna consciousness by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is unusual. But in the human form of life, even, the rare human form of life, it's rare to come to Krishna consciousness. It's a great fortune to come to this point. Many in this land of Bharata, what is now called the land of Bharata, we'll see on the postage stamp, India Bharata. It's written in what's in the script that's used for Hindi. Although Bharata Varsha is much bigger, gradually shrinking, or what is known as Bharata. But even in this land, which in the whole universe is most favorable for Krishna consciousness, very few come to this point of formally, officially accepting initiation. And it's a great fortune to come in the line of Srila Prabhupada. There's so many wrong ideas all over the world. India's Vedic philosophical tradition and the culture that surrounded that gave rise to highly sophisticated philosophical speculations. Most of them for avoiding Krishna. The Sharadarshana, the six philosophies. And then within that six philosophy, or six philosophical systems, and within that there are so many different ideas. And then there are the non-Vedic schools, highly sophisticated philosophy, avoiding Krishna. Philosophy in general, whether in India or elsewhere, has generally been some kind of an attempt to try to make sense of the world around us, which, if we think a little philosophically, doesn't seem to make any sense. And it seems to be more and more like that. We live for a few years, then we die. We don't know why. If we don't have the gift of Bhagavad-gita as it is, then we don't know why. And various ideas have been dreamed up to try to give some meaning. Religion in general can be said to give some kind, trying to give some kind of meaning. Theistic religion tries to give meaning that you have to believe in Christ. That's one idea. You have to believe in Christ and then you're okay. And if you don't believe in Christ, then you're not okay. And you go to hell forever. Or, of course, you have to be in our particular church. Or Islam. You have to believe this. Otherwise, you go to hell. And of course, you either have to be a Sunni or a Shia or whatever. So many speculations are there. And other philosophers are there, non-theistic philosophers, both Vedic and Western, who give various ideas that, well, when you die, you're dead. So enjoy while you can. Or be a good person as long as you can. Many philosophies are there, because if we try to work it all out with our own intelligence, we'll find everything is very complex. Human psychology is very complex. I was saying it's getting worse. At least previously, up until quite recently, it was quite possible to talk with people, and even if there's some disagreement, there's some basic accepted foundation of discussion. But in the world today, it's very difficult to speak with anyone, because no one trusts anyone else. And there are so many, that's the problem. The phone and so many ideas being pumped out through the internet. The people are completely confused, and they feel as if no one cares for me, there's no purpose in life. In the Western world, as I was growing up, especially in America, the idea was there that, well, this is the apex of civilization. This is the highest it goes. We've got all this scientific progress. We've got all this man's command over nature, by which we are making so much progress to make life so much better for everyone. There was a feeling. Maybe it wasn't so much in Britain when I was raised, because they lost their empire. So they were already on a downward slope. And it's been pretty much downward ever since, even from the material point of view. But now, young people growing up in the West, they seem to have lost any hope, in many of them, that there can be any goodness in the world. They just see exploitation all around them. Many of them are raised without what we would previously have called a family, a loving family. And many of them become victims of drugs or alcohol addiction, pornography addiction, gambling addiction. And there doesn't seem to be any sense anywhere. And we have news pumped into us all the time about how in one country people are killing each other left, right, and center. And then people take sides, one side or the other. The insanity level is very high. It was like that actually in the Western world up until the 1930s, when it all popped it all came together as the Second World War. There are different ideologies and people fighting each other, not just philosophically, but literally. They were going. But there was some idea even then. In that sense, it was better. And the fascists and communists, they were killing each other, but at least they had some ideal. They thought our system will make the world better. But now people seem to have lost any hope of making the world better. And the propagation of atheism, people don't believe in God, and very, very confused time. So you're very fortunate to come under the shelter of Srila Prabhupada, who removed the confusion for so many and continues to do so by giving clear knowledge of what is reality, what is the truth. Human interactions are very complex. Psychology, very, very complex. But it can all be understood through the lens of Bhagavad-gita, if it's given as it is, as Srila Prabhupada kindly did. In the philosophy of Bhagavad-gita, we say it's the introductory book, but it's not so easy at all if we get into the philosophical depths of its understanding. It's not easy unless we're guided through it by Tattvadarshi, someone who's actually seen the truth of what is there. Then we get hope, otherwise hopeless. Hinduism also, I want to call Hinduism. There's so many ideas. There used to be so many ideas. There used to be some philosophical discussion. It used to be fairly widespread. But nowadays, what does it mean to be a Hindu? What does it mean? Probably many people would like to define it as the main thing about being a Hindu is that you hate Muslims and Christians and vote for BJP. That's the main symptom of being a Hindu. Or if you don't hate them, you may not say that, but don't trust them at all. I mean, of course, you don't trust anyone. But it used to be there was a lot of philosophical discussion, especially here in South India. Maybe not so much in Tamil Nadu because of the grossly atheistic propaganda that really started, how long, about 80 years ago? 100 years ago. Grossly atheistic propaganda, which was successful in the sense that it changed the culture to a large extent. But otherwise, I was saying the teachings of Shankaracharya are very influential. Then the teachings of Vivekananda are also very, very influential, who gave the idea, or propagated the idea, said to have been taught by the Ramakrishna, that all paths are the same, they all lead. So the idea that all religions are the same and all Hindus should unite because it's all the same anyway. And someone worships Vishnu, someone worships Shiva, someone worships a stone they found in a field, and someone worships their grandfather. And you can worship anything you like because it's all just symbols of the ultimate behind it all. That scholars have called this Neo-Advaita, because not what Shankaracharya taught, but it's and along with that came the idea, well, all religions are the same, so yeah, if you're, it doesn't matter, you can eat meat, and you can, better you eat meat, Vivekananda said. And it doesn't really matter what you believe. And then what comes out of that? Well, you don't really have to believe anything. So many wrong ideas. But nowadays, I don't see in Hinduism many ideas at all. It's not anything remotely like Vedic ideas or Vedic philosophy. Just someone gets on YouTube and rides on a motorbike or something has a beard and calls himself a guru, and that's a guru. Or have a long beard and talk in a gentle voice, and people like it. Makes you feel good. Or talk about how you can develop your personality, who you are in the first place. That's not discussed. But develop your personality so you can get ahead in this rough, tough world. Srila Prabhupada gave Bhagavad-gita as it is, cleared through so much confusion. If we try to work it out all ourselves, we're not going to get anywhere. We might get some idea. We might become some great philosopher. It's hard to find how there can be any new great philosophers, because it seems pretty much everything has been said. But if you start off on your own and try to work everything out, then where do you get to? You might become a great philosopher like Socrates. Of course, he didn't really know. He didn't know the absolute truth, but he accepted that he couldn't die. Srila Prabhupada appreciated that the death of the body is not the death of the self. You might get that far. If you're a great philosopher, if you manage to sit down and in your disturbed mind try to think something out clearly. And there are so many others, so many with different ideas, the history of philosophy, and it all amounts to ignorance of the basic facts which are given by Krishna in Bhagavad-gita. The basic fact that we are all eternal servants of Krishna. But Bhagavad-gita also, so many people take Bhagavad-gita and mix it up, mess it up, misunderstand it. So Srila Prabhupada very kindly gave Bhagavad-gita as it is, enriched with the knowledge that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave. Of course, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave is not anything different from Bhagavad-gita. Veda Shastra kahe sambandha abhideya prayojan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that the Vedic Shastras speak of sambandha abhideya prayojan. What is our relationship with God? What is how to act in that relationship, and what is the ultimate point of achieving that relationship? But practically speaking, most of the Vedic literature, at least that which is extant today, it doesn't clearly indicate that, as Krishna himself says in Bhagavad-gita. Traigunya Vishaya Veda. The Vedas are mostly concerned with the three modes of material nature. So all the Vedas point toward Krishna. Vedaisya Savera Hameva Vedyaha. Krishna says in all the Vedas, I am the one to be understood. Sarve Veda Yatpadam Amananti. All the Vedas point to that one point. But what is that one point? Brahman. Well, what is that Brahman? That is Krishna. Who is Krishna? That we accept. It's it seems very clear to us, and it is very clear because we've learned from Bhagavad-gita as it is, given by Srila Prabhupada. Mata parataram nanyat. There's no truth superior to me. But by the influence of Krishna's illusory energy, great scholars have the same Bhagavad-gita and they don't find Krishna. The Bhagavad-gita mostly establishes Sambandha Gyan, and even that, just a lot of it is just approaching that Sambandha Gyan. Who are we and what is our relationship with God? Who is God? How to act in that relationship? Bhagavad Gita gives a little prayojan, just a little hint is there in Bhagavad Gita. In there, all three topics are there in Bhagavatam, and in a very focused and explicit way, bringing out the essence of Bhagavatam in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings, especially in Caitanya-caritamrta. When Srila Prabhupada was teaching in New York in 1966, his totally unqualified students, if we see the traditional standard for who can be a qualified student of Vedic knowledge, he was teaching early on, he was teaching Caitanya-caritamrta. Sanatana Goswami's section, in which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches all that knowledge to Sanatana Goswami. So we have a great gift. Read the books of Srila Prabhupada. Chant the holy names of Krishna. Stick to the path given by Srila Prabhupada, which is the path given by the previous acharyas. Very fortunate to come now. We can't even imagine how fortunate we are. As jivas, Krishna is too great for us to understand how fortunate we are to be admitted into his service. We can never fully understand how fortunate we are. It's beyond our comprehension. So many things beyond our comprehension. But this much we can understand. I'm an eternal servant of Krishna. Now I have to serve him. I don't know how long I've been away from Krishna. Now I have the chance. Let me take it seriously. Hare Krishna.